up a few thousand degrees with a Lava Hot podcast and host Joseph Connell Jr. You'll hear from ordinary people who are doing extraordinary things, from tech startup CEOs and marketing professionals to authors, investors, and sales trainers. This show will be packed with information to help you level up in life or business, taking you from on fire up to lava hot. Get ready to burn this down.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Lava Hot Podcast. I'm your host, Joseph Connell. Today I have with me Kimberly Roche. Kimberly is the owner of Sculpt Women's Fitness. Yes, I got that right. I said it perfectly the very first time. She also runs an online fitness community at KimberlyRocheFitness.com.
Yes,
Is it .com?
.com.
Okay. And you also have an online nutrition community as well, and that's Mind, Body, and Food.
Yes. Found right on Facebook.
Yep, perfect. Kimberly, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yep. So I wanted to have you on after, going through some exchanges. What I like is that you had, I guess, developed a passion for fitness on your own, and then you were able to cultivate that into a business of your own, and now you're sitting with a 2-location fitness center, an online community, an online nutrition group, and I thought it was very impressive, so I wanted to bring you on and
Thank you.
learn a little bit more about it. So, but before we get to where you are, I want to go back to where you started. So I want to know really about your background. Like what brought you to this point now?
Like all the way back, or?
I mean, as far as you want to go.
Well, for the fitness part of it, I've always been athletic. Like I played sports in high school and all that, but then I had my son and gained 65 pounds with him. Like most women, after I had him, I looked at my body and it wasn't how it had always been, and I didn't like it. So I went to the gym. I started running on the treadmill, doing the elliptical, all the things that you think, or that I thought, and most women think, will get them to lose the weight and get them the body that they want, and it just didn't work. So then I started going on Instagram, and I saw all these girls with these amazing bodies, and they were getting it through lifting weights. Right. So I was like, I want to do that. Yeah. The gym that I was going to, I hired a personal trainer there who actually was a bodybuilder. She competed and did all the bikini stuff, and was like, I want to know how to do that. Not to that extreme, but I wanted to know how to lift safely and not hurt myself. And right. From there, it lit this fire inside of me because my body was changing. I lost the weight. And then I got to a point where I was like, this is kind of expensive, so let me go and get certified so I can just do it for myself. And that's what I did. I took a 10-week course to be a certified personal trainer and also a nutrition coach. And then I started programming for myself. And that's when my body started to just get stupid sick. My butt was getting much firmer and rounder. My shape that I was building was coming in nice, and right. I wanted to be able to give that to more women and just teach them how to do it too. So that way and also give it to them at a better price point, so they didn't have to spend thousands of dollars every month on a personal trainer, that they could do an online program for relatively cheap and get the goals that they wanted as long as they were committed and consistent. And that's just how it
right. Yeah, so, I mean, you hit the nail right on the head. I think everybody, when they think, it's beach season or what have you, or they just have the extra weight that they want to put on, the cardiovascular end of things is where most people are programmed. They're going to buy a bike or an elliptical, or they're going to, run it out in hopes that does it. But no, you're absolutely right. I mean, and most women, I think, overlook this aspect of it, that really the weight training is what leads to the fat loss.
Yeah.
Because that additional muscle. I've heard it oftentimes, in the women community, if you will, a lot of them will be concerned that they might get too bulky or something like that.
Yeah,
and it's
I hear
like,
it all the time.
You have no idea. I've been lifting for 4 years and I'm not bulky.
And that's exactly what I tell them.
Yeah, it's like you don't become this ripped, Neanderthal overnight. Like, you really have to have like the nutrition program and vigorous training to end up bulky, I believe.
And it's true, but it's also, there's different modalities on what your body's going to look like depending on which program you follow. Sure, if I trained you to be a power lifter, then your body probably would look bulky and a little bit manly, but we don't do that. We follow a hypertrophy model in my gym, which is what most bodybuilders do. It builds long, lean, sexy muscles, and we just go for a certain shape. So like, we train glutes 4 times a week in my program, because most women want a nice butt. So we train glutes, you know, and we go for that hourglass shape. So we work on lats and shoulders. We don't really train arms. Your arms can get enough definition from doing back and shoulders. If you want more of a bulky arm, then we can throw in some bicep and tricep work, but most women don't want that. And also, like chest, we don't train chest. We don't want square looking chest.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. That's reasonable.
We do it all for an aesthetic
purpose. Why are you laughing, Maurice?
we do it all for an aesthetic purpose, and it's working. So
yeah, very cool. So I want to understand. So you went beyond, like, because you see it all the time. People that get into fitness and then they become a personal trainer, and that's a good way to make a living, especially if it's something that you enjoy doing. But you went beyond that. You're not a personal trainer that is operating from the local gym or anything like that. You have created a unique atmosphere for women to come and work out in.
For sure.
But it's very cool to see, a young
33, I'll be 34 this year.
Young 33, 34-year-old mother who's running a business in 2 locations, one here in Salisbury, Maryland, the other one's in Bethesda?
Potomac.
Same. Why was I thinking Bethesda?
Because my place is in Bethesda.
Gotcha.
My house there, yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And, the fact that you have it set up as 2 locations is pretty impressive on its own. But I want to understand, like, I guess it started with one location.
Right.
Walk me through that, and then why you created this atmosphere the way that you did.
So when I went into the gym and I would work out with my trainer, I did her 2 times a week, sometimes 3 times. But to really get results, you need to be in there like 3 to 4 times a week. So when I wasn't with her, I'd have to go into the gym by myself. And down where the weights are, I mean, most people know that it's mainly men down there, and it's uncomfortable. Especially when you have a lot of extra weight on you and you don't really know what you're doing, and then you have all these guys staring at you, or you're mid-rep and somebody's coming up asking you for your number. It's uncomfortable. So that's when it like sparked in my head, like, women should have like their own space to go and lift weights in. And that's what initially made me want to do like a women's only gym. It was like an idea that just popped in. Oh, that would be nice to have a women's only gym. And then once I started doing my online virtual program, I wrote 2 programs. One was for an in the gym version, and one was for an at-home version. And what I found when I talked to most of the women who wanted to do my program was that they felt the same way I did. They didn't want to do the at the gym version because they didn't want to go in there with all the guys. They didn't want to feel creeped out. And that's when I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to give women a safe place where they can like feel like they, don't have to worry about that. They don't have to have that factor of, are the guys going to be looking at me? Am I going to get crap from my boyfriend or my husband because I want to go to the gym, And then also for, my Muslim ladies who can't take their head wraps off around, men. They can come in there and they can take it off, and they can not have to sweat with their head wrap on. They can come in and they can just work out like, like everyone else.
Be them and not feel like they have like, anything
stopping them.
To make
I wanted
them
to take
feel
away.
out of place.
I wanted to take away the hindrances that kept women out of the gym. So that was the main reason for it. And then I also wanted to create a vibe, like when women walk through the door, like they have a family, like they come in there and they're supported, because that's a main factor of whether or not someone's going to stick to their new workout regimen early on, is if they have that social support, and most people don't have that.
I see the pictures that you post after each session. It seems like a rowdy group.
We have a lot of fun.
It seems like a group that like you guys get after it and then have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
There's one girl in particular that's always dead center doing some sort of
twerking on the wall,
upside down twerk on the wall.
And let me tell you, this girl came in the gym and she was like so timid and so shy, and like if I would have told her or asked her to jump on the wall and do that when she first came in, she would have looked at me like a crazy person. And now she's like, she did the ring girl stuff with me the last time. She's got so much confidence. She agreed to like help me get her to be like bikini ready for a competition. So we're going to push her to do that. Like, it's just amazing.
Yeah, it's very cool. Yeah, I mean, fitness is definitely a fast track to boosting some confidence. And it's not even just, because you look better or feel better or walk better. I mean, just the exercise, the routine, the commitment, all those things tend to just kind of help with the psychology of an individual.
Yeah.
It kind of breaks you out of your state. I mean, if you're somebody who's very relaxed and complacent, I mean, you're not really going to drive results, if you will.
Yeah.
I feel like, having that extra get up and go and just.
And then lifting heavy shit just makes you feel like a badass. So, they get in there and they start out hip thrusting like 60 pounds. And then within a month, they're like close to 200. Like, you can't really, beat that feeling of like how great you feel and how strong you feel when you see yourself like putting up that much weight,
Yep. So you have 2 locations. I'm kind of curious, like, what type of groups are you seeing? Like, do you have like a pretty consistent flow in both locations?
Yeah. So majority of the people that come, they're moms. They don't like how their bodies look anymore, and they know from seeing on Instagram and stuff that the way to get that really nice toned body is through weightlifting. So they come to me and I teach them how. I show them the way.
Yep. So you'll teach them the lifting end of it, but then you also have the online nutrition group.
Oh yeah.
I would imagine that kind of hammers home a lot of the other end of it, because abs are made in the kitchen. So,
yeah. The big part of it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And I saw you post some of the recipes that you post. I mean, you're not posting, like a cracker with some water. I mean, like, you're putting together some pretty legit tasting options that I would imagine curve that, what's the word I'm looking for? Cravings.
Yeah, cravings.
Yeah.
So the thing is like, you don't have to eat rice and chicken breast, day in, day out in order to meet your goals. Now, like, if you're trying to get on the stage and you need like 0 body fat, then there's going to come a point where that's really all you can eat, because you have to get to a very low body fat. But to lose weight, you just have to be in a calorie deficit. And most people, their range to just do regular everyday activity is like 2,200 calories. If you're eating healthy food, like healthier options, that's actually a shit ton of food. So
it's a lot.
Yeah. So
whenever I have that conversation with people, I try to equate, when I was like rigorously tracking my macros, Chipotle like was one of the like main places that I would go, and I would just have like these pre-built like meals in the MyFitnessPal app. And the average bowl, based on the things that I got on, I would cut out a lot of the like fatty stuff, like sour cream or cheese, stuff like that. But when you tailor it the right way, and obviously you're banking on the fact that it's made within those same macros, but when you make it the right way, I mean, an entire Chipotle bowl can be 900 calories.
Yeah.
I couldn't eat 2 of those a day. Like, that's just it's an insane amount of food.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, maybe if I wanted to, I probably could. But it's still just a lot of food. I mean, when you think about, to what you're saying, that to eat 1,800 calories, if the average person needs to hit 2,000, they want to be in a deficit. If they're looking at it that way, there's a lot of really low calorie, high dense foods.
Yeah, that you can eat.
Especially, when you're looking at protein and being protein heavy.
And that's what I try to teach my ladies, that and also get them to realize what calories really are and how they're broken down, how it's carbs, proteins, and fats. Like, before I became a nutrition coach, I didn't know any of that. Like, I knew there were carbs, I knew there were proteins, I knew there were fats, but I didn't know that that's what actually made up calories. So I just try to teach them about it, so that way they can be more mindful and that they can start choosing better options, so that way they're aligned, the things that they're choosing are aligned with their goals. And it's just basically getting people to be aware
Yeah. What do you track, or like what? I would imagine you use some sort of app to track all your meals.
I use MyFitnessPal.
Yeah.
Just the free version of it is fine. When you pay for it, I think you can then break down like the actual macro amounts, like what carb, protein, fat, all that stuff. But really, the free version is plenty for me. But yeah, like so, I go. Me myself, I live the lifestyle that I try to teach my ladies. Like there's points in my life where I'm in like a bulking phase, and then that's when I'm like eating 2,800 calories, and it's hard. And that's when I eat a lot of Popeyes, because that's high calorie food. Like, and it might not be the healthiest thing to eat, but I need those calories. So if I want to have Popeyes once a week when I'm in a bulking phase, I will. And then I also do like cutting times, like especially like in the spring, getting ready for summer. And then my girls get to see me do that as well, you know?
Right.
And they get to see that I'm really not eating like crap, you know? Like I still am eating good food.
Yeah. No, you know, I think especially now with apps like TikTok and Facebook and Instagram are obviously around, you'll see a lot of different fad diets. You'll see, maybe not Atkins. I don't know if that's even popular anymore, but keto. You'll see people on one end with keto where it's not even low carb. It's just about eating high quantities of fat. I did keto for like a week, and it's not sustainable. It's the problem. And I think anytime you do like a restrictive diet, it just makes life miserable, because who the hell wants to never eat bread or pasta or pizza or any of that stuff again? And with those diets, I haven't personally experienced this, but I've seen friends who have gone through these phases where they'll do those, fad diets, and they'll drop a ton of weight. Sure. And then the moment they go back to eating like the traditional, like American diet, if you will, it's like right back, even worse. Like it's like amplified. It's like playing catch up. Yeah.
And that's the word you use, like sustainable. It's not sustainable. And I think that, we get in our heads that like everything has to be quick and like right now, and it's not a sprint. And that's what I'm always telling my ladies. This is not a sprint. This is a journey. This is getting you to find better ways to manage your fitness and your health, so that way you can do this forever. Who wants to lose 100 pounds and then put it back on in the first 6 months that they're not on that restrictive diet or whatever? Or and then also like a lot of the ladies that come to me, the first thing that they say is they're like, well, I don't want to be skinny. I'm like, I don't want you to be skinny either. I just want you to be healthy. Like, I don't do this to make you skinny. Like, that's not why I'm doing this. I want you healthy. I want us to be here when we're 60, 70, 80 and not on a handful of pills to fight these diseases that we've got, Yep. So. Yeah,
so I have the paid version of MyFitnessPal.
Yeah.
One thing that I like about it, for those listening, I would imagine that there's going to be some people that follow you that are in the fitness realm, if you will. What I like about MyFitnessPal is there's an option where you can create meals and recipes. And what I always found, it just expedites everything. So anytime I make something that I enjoy, let's say, I make these like breakfast pizza type things where it's, egg beaters, very high protein. It's like probably 45 grams of protein, very low carb. Not that that matters, but just high protein breakfast I create it as a meal. That way, when I go to track it, I'm not looking for each individual item. I'm just hitting, one of these, and I just already know like how I'm going to make it with what I'm going to put in it. And it'll just one button rather than going through each ingredient of what I put in there.
Like how I do.
Yeah, exactly how you do apparently. But I mean, it's very cool. I would imagine you probably do that and then share like, in your group. Like,
I do the whole, and it's like a quarter cup of avocado, a cup of rice, like all that, so everything. Yeah. It just expedites the process. The other thing too is it's cool for planning, because you can think into like the next week or the next day, like, okay, I need to hit X amount of protein. Yeah. I plan on eating this, and this, and then you can try to figure out the rest. So
just play with the numbers.
Pay for the.
You might be able to do it on the free version. I'm not totally sure.
I'll have to look into it.
But if you can create recipes, I mean, that's really all you're looking for.
Yeah, and I guess it would be good too, since I am usually creating the stuff that I'm eating. I'm not really following a recipe. It's all like thrown together by what I know works for me, and to reach my macros and stuff, because it's hard when you're trying to eat a lot of protein, and that's usually where I'm at with my goals.
Right.
So yeah.
So I want to switch from the 2 locations to the online training.
Yes.
I would imagine that was something that got cultivated throughout the times of COVID.
Yes, that was what I originally started with, was the virtual coaching.
Wow, so you started with virtual and then took it to the locations.
Yes.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's interesting. In my experience in marketing, most people will have the brick and mortar and then they try to take it to the online. Like, how do I do this? It's cool that you started with that.
Yeah.
And still have that, and then you were able to also, carry that into 2 locations.
Well, I think that the reason why I did it in the beginning for the virtual aspect was because I was like living in Potomac, and most of the people I know are down here in Salisbury, so they all wanted me to train them, and the only way that could happen was if I had a virtual program. So that's why I originally started that. And it started through a Facebook group on Facebook. That's how I kept track of all of them. I would add them to the group whenever they signed up, and then just program for them. And if they weren't, I would require them to take selfies in the gym and like try to keep them active and all that. And if they weren't, I'd call them out on Facebook and be like, "Oh, hey, Katie, you weren't in the gym this week. Like, what's going on?"
We missed you.
Yeah. So they were all scared that I was going to call them out, so they got their butts in the gym. Yeah.
Very cool. So the online training, I would imagine that's something that you still have. You're still doing. So wherever you are listening to this, if you're a female trying to get them gains,
hit me up.
I say, definitely check out the site. I mean, it's very cool that you have a scalable model that can, work with anybody, anywhere. As far as these 2 locations, any plans to expand in the future?
Yes.
Just tell me about it.
So we are currently looking to see where we should put the next one. I have quite a few girls in the Pasadena, Glen Burnie area that are bugging me like crazy to put one there. Depending on this location and how packed it starts to get, we might need to put one in maybe like the Laurel, Seaford, Delmar area. It all just depends. But yeah, or even Montgomery County maybe. So to put another one there, like an actual, because the one that I have is just a studio. Right now we don't have like open gym memberships or like big classes and stuff. So there will be one in Montgomery County eventually.
Yep, very cool. Yeah, so I grew up in the Pasadena area. I know that, throughout Maryland there's a lot of pockets of, opportunity, if you will. Pasadena literally hits home for me. So, it'd be very cool to see one over there. I have family over that way.
Yeah.
I was curious about like the Rehoboth market, because I feel like, that's an area that.
Yeah, there's going to need to be one at the beach sometime soon.
How far in your head, 5 years from now, how far do you see this going? How many locations are?
It should be franchised by then.
Oof.
By then.
Party.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Very cool.
Yeah, they need to have Sculpt Women's Fitnesses all over. Women need it.
Yeah.
They need to be able to find a place where they can lift at and feel safe in, and have like a family of other girls that are all along the same journey. We just lift each other up, and we all become badasses who lift weights.
Yeah. And what's cool is the individuals that come and work out with you could likely turn into the next version of you, the next person that says, you know what, I want to run this Salisbury location. I want to run the, not Bethesda, where?
Potomac. Yeah, but Montgomery County. Yeah,
Yeah.
actually, Lindsay, she's the one that started my virtual program. She was the first client that I had. Well, not client, but she came to me and was like, "I want a butt," and I was like, "Well, let me use your before.
I want a butt.
Let me use your before and after pictures, and I'll program for you." And she did, and now she's a certified personal trainer, and she pretty much runs the Salisbury location for me.
Very cool. Yeah, I mean, always be recruiting, new customers and new trainers. So, that's a very cool, concept you got there. You train them up, and then you help develop them into a leader, and
then they go on and impact other women, and then those women, it's just a trickle effect, hopefully.
Very, very cool. So you see within the next 5 years a franchise model trickling up and down the East Coast, or are you thinking all across the map?
All over.
Yeah. It's like McDonald's. There
Yep.
should be one in every state, every city.
For sure.
Very cool. Very cool. So for individuals that are listening, if they're interested in the online training, how to get a hold of you if they want to do training locally, or they just want to, can anybody go to the nutrition group?
Yep. Yeah, anybody can go.
Is it female exclusive for the
Yes.
nutrition group? Okay.
Females only.
Sorry, Maurice, you don't get the nutritional.
I do give advice to guys, but it's like privately. I'm not charging or anything like that, but if like someone reaches out to me and they're like, I'm having a really hard time losing weight or whatever, like I will give them some knowledge and help them. But I really just like to work with women.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's on brand. I mean, you don't want to fragment yourself into a whole new category. I love the fact that, you dedicated your life to a certain mission, and that's to create a safe space for women. You actually said it before the show. I don't remember how you said it, but it sounded a lot better than how I just said it. But it's very cool that you've cultivated like this atmosphere, but now you have like this entire ecosystem that people can come into, whether, they're in the States or not in the States, if they're local or not local, to be able to come in free of charge for the nutrition group and just experience the culture.
Yeah.
But then, if they decide, hey, you know what, I want to do an online training program, you have that available for them as well. But, okay, so what, I'm sorry, the name of the nutrition group was Mind, Body, and Food?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, right on Facebook.
Yep, so that's on Facebook. If somebody wants to look at your online training programs, that was Kimberly Roche Fitness,
Kimberly Roche Fitness.
Yeah, that's how I said it. I said it perfectly like that. Roche.
ROCHE Fitness.com.
Cool. And if they are interested in training locally with you or with one of your trainers, they go to what website?
Sculpt Women's Fitness.
Okay.
Yeah.
And online, social media, where would you like everybody to go to follow you?
So I am at Kimmy, KIMMIE _fit_life on Instagram, and then just Kimberly Roche on Facebook.
Okay, cool. So as we land the plane, I want to, I always ask this question, is there anything you wish I would have asked?
No.
No? Okay.
It was great.
Yeah. So, well, Kim, I appreciate you coming on. We made perfect time, so I can see Maurice is happy.
Yay.
But yeah, I appreciate you coming on. I'm interested to see how this unfolds as you start to continue to build this brand. I'm really anxious to see online how you scale the online training platform, just because that's something, me being a digital marketing guy, that's something I'm always interested in. I really feel like nowadays that's an overlooked way for a lot of people to be able to scale, and they don't look at some of the free mediums that are out there that they can leverage to connect with people all across the world, all across the country. So obviously I've seen that you have been pushing out some short form video.
Yeah.
I strongly encourage that, because I think that's the easiest way, the most cost-effective way for you to connect with an entire audience.
Yeah.
And they'll find your content. So,
Yeah.
But again, I appreciate you coming on. And,
Thanks for having me. It was great.
we'll probably do a follow-up. I want to see, the next time you're opening a location or you're about to franchise, we'll have to bring you back on.
For sure, that'd be dope.
Yeah, very cool.
Okay.
All right, thanks.
You've been listening to the Lava Hot Podcast with Joseph Connell Jr. Do you want to level up your business in 2022? Then visit us at golavahot.com for a free marketing analysis.
Get ready, you already know. Let's go.